Hi, I'm Lisa Leslie.
And I'm Trisha Takanawa.
And we're the Channel 4 News team. Cut. This just in. We have field reporter Lisa Leslie on the spot in New York where they're working on some advancements in birth control.
Roll them.
New York City. The concrete jungle. 84 million and growing. Yeah, that's right. But you can kiss that growing population goodbye. Kiss the baby boom era goodbye, why don't you? That's right. In this lab right behind me, researchers are working on an oral contraceptive that can effectively eliminate the chance of pregnancy.
This just in, we have Trisha Takanawa in North Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh. The Vietnam War. Wake up, America. On March 2nd, over 3,500 Marines and other military folks, such as Army and Navy, were shipped out to the Vietnam War in Operation Rolling Thunder to fight the war on communism in North Vietnam under tyrannical ruler Ho Chi Minh. Back to you in the studio, Trisha. This just in, Richard Nixon has won the 1968 presidential election out of Washington, D.C. Big news from D.C. today. Congrats to Richard on the big win after losing to JFK in the presidential election in 1960, and then also losing in the California government race in 1962. He comes back again, Richard Nixon, in the 1968 race, and he wins it in a three-way race between him, Hubert Humphrey, and independent Alabama State Governor George Wallace. And also, we have big news out of Florida today, as at the JFK Space Center, we have launched our first men up into space.
I'll tell you what, Trisha, that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin are en route to the moon right now, as we speak. Godspeed, gentlemen.
Godspeed. This just in. I've just received word that we have Lisa Leslie live on the spot in Bethel, New York, at the music festival Woodstock. Lisa? I'm here at Bethel, New York, at Woodstock. Country Joe put on a pretty moving performance when he rallied all the rebellious youthful teens in an anti-war performance. Then, Carlos Santana put on an electric guitar performance. However, he was quoted as saying, "I thought my guitar was a snake." Then, to wrap it all up, Jimi Hendrix put on an amazing guitar performance to wrap up this three-day music festival known as Woodstock. Back to you, Lisa.
Washington, D.C. This just in, Richard Nixon, gone with the wind. As soon as he comes, he goes. The 1972 Watergate scandal.
Sweet mother of God.
Yeah, he may be, he's in the certain phase of impeachment, and people want to charge him with obstruction of justice, and his whole administration is trying to cover it up, and this is exposing abuses of power, bugging, and all sorts of other scandals.
Richard Nixon, you scum. This just in, a new musical craze known as punk rock is being formed in New York City, Queens that is. A group called the Ramones is beginning to play somewhat of a shorter, louder, speedier version of early doo-wop rock and roll, and it appears that they're taking the nation by storm.
This just in, Menachem Begin has become the 6th Prime Minister of Israel. He will be taking steps to reach a peace treaty with Egypt, which has been an uneasy country for Israel. They have had many conflicts in the past, and Menachem Begin will be the first one to attempt to restore the peace between Israel and Egypt. This just in, Ronald Reagan has become the President of the United States, radio, actor, TV personality in the 1980 election, after losing 4 years ago in a narrow race with Gerald Ford. Congrats, Ronald. This just in, we have Trisha Takanala over in Palestine. Over to you, Trisha. Still here in Palestine. It's late 1970s, and with the late 1970s have been numerous amounts of airplane hijackings. Most notably, in 1976, June 7th, Air France Flight 139 was hijacked by 2 Palestinian terrorists, and there were both Israeli and non-Israeli soldiers on board, about 102 to be exact, and they were taken hostage at a Ugandan airport. Israeli defense operatives came and they handled the situation, killed every terrorist, and freed all 102 hostages in just 90 minutes. I'm still here in the Palestines. It's June 6, 1976, and in late 1970s there have been a number of airplane hijackings. Most notably, Air France Flight 139, where there was 248 passengers, and 102 of those passengers were taken hostage at a Ugandan airport by 2 Palestinian terrorists. It took an Israeli operative team of 100 men 90 minutes to not only free all 102 hostages, but they were also able to kill all of the terrorists. Back to you in the studio. Groundbreaking reporting, Trisha. Now back over to Trisha in Afghanistan and Iran. 1979, Iran. After the Iranian Revolution, a group of Ayatollahs has overthrown the Shah, and they have taken hostages from the U.S. Embassy, known as the Iran hostage crisis, in which the hostages did not get released for 444 days, minutes after Ronald Reagan had been elected president. Russians are in Afghanistan under the claim that they are protecting communist interests, but we see right through that, America. And we've supported the rebels to a point that in 1979, after a long and costly war, to say the least, the Russians have been forced to withdraw from Afghanistan.
Hi, I'm Lisa Leslie. I'm your fire tracker. I'm here to tell you with what we really believe started the fire. First off, birth control was important because it showed large advancements in the scientific world. Also, it put an end to the growing population from the baby boom era. Next, Ho Chi Minh was important due to his involvement in the Vietnam War, which was a big defeat for America and its pursuit of containing communism. Then, Richard Nixon was a groundbreaking victory due to his slight lead in votes, thanks to independent candidate Alabama State Governor George Wallace, who took up some of Hubert Humphrey's votes, which would have led him to a victory over Nixon. Moonshot. Moonshot was a big step for America because we became victorious in the space race against Russia, and also we were able to show our scientific dominance. Woodstock was a monumental moment in the history of popular music, of rock and roll, as well as it brought the people together through the power of music. Watergate was an important scandal because it led to the first and only resignation of a U.S. president and exposed the government's abuses of power. Punk rock was a big deal because it became a very powerful influence on the underground New York scene, as well as created a new era of music and rebellion. Begin was important due to his signing of a peace treaty with Egypt, and due to this, he received the Nobel Peace Prize. Reagan was important due to his peace work in officially ending the Cold War, as well as ripping down the Berlin Wall. Palestine was one of the many conflicts that has given a bad reputation to the Middle East, as well as the Israeli-Palestinian relationship. Terror on the airlines gave somewhat of a climax to the late 1970 airline hijackings that shattered the world. Ayatollahs in Iran caused an uproar in the U.S. public, and it was also a beginning to the U.S./Iran tension. Russians in Afghanistan showed dominance of U.S. over the Soviet Union because the U.S. supported the rebellion and helped shut down the communist operations. For all of us here at Channel 4 News, I'm Lisa Leslie. Wake up, America.